Hello and welcome back to Operation Crypto. Today we're going to run over the project Stellar, which is XLM. We'll have a look at some key stats and we'll have a look at some price action. Just to start up with, before we jump across to the charts, I will now jump into CoinMarketCap and we'll run over some of the key statistics and historic data of Stellar, which is XLM. It is currently ranked 14 out of all cryptocurrencies that are listed on CoinMarketCap, and we have a coin price of around 10 cents. Current market cap is $2.1 billion. The total supply of Stellar XLM is 50 billion. And we have a total circulating supply of 20.5 billion. Currently we have $242 million worth of volume per 24 hours. If we just scroll across to our market pairs, you can see where we're trading the most. If it decides to load, yeah, there we go. So as you can see, Binance is getting about 8% of the volume against USDT. And as this is a solid project, you would expect it to be on all the big exchanges. So you would imagine that we have, yep, absolutely hundreds of pairs, so you can pretty much buy Stellar wherever you trade, really. Next up, I just want to take a look at the all-time high, so it gives a little bit of an idea where it's been in the past. So as you can see here, we did it 93 cents, and that was in January 2018. That was towards the end of that crazy bull run that we had. So we are now at what we would say we're at 10 cents. So we are not a million miles away from pushing up to those highs. It will take a lot, but so there's a lot of projects that have retraced a lot further, and I do think that this will be a great coin to hold in the future around these prices. I mean, I'm going to put a bearish scenario on it soon, just in case we do get some good investment opportunities, but we will jump over to a chart now and take a look at what's going on TradingView. Right, let's get cracking, and we will use the Stellar versus Tether chart. We will start off on the weekly time frame, and what I want to do first is identify a couple of key levels of support and resistance. And as you can see straight away, we have one there, acted as support there, bounced away through and acted as resistance. You could say that's a little bit down there, just so we touched on wicks, and it did bounce back up there. So we'll just change that to the weekly level. I just want to get a few of these in place so we have a bit of market structure. Let's see if we can identify a few more. Not Bobby right eye up. Let's have a look. So you could say there's one there. We come all the way through from this wick. Then again acted as resistance. It bounced off their support. And then again that's where we are now. We have them weekly resistance levels, and we will change that to the weekly. I don't want to put too many in because we'll end up getting a bit lost. And there's one more there. If you can see, that one goes right through to there. You could say it hits at the top of that wick, and that acts there, bounce off, and you can see we've got a little bit of area to move up there once we start moving again. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put one in there as well. So we have one there. Right in the bottom, that acted as support, and then again if you touched it there. So there we have some key levels of support and resistance on the weekly time frame. We'll just make sure we've got those labelled up so we know what's what. There we go, and then we will drop into, do we have any ones at lower levels? No, we're not going to bother. So we'll drop into the daily now and see what we can see from here. As you can see here, this is that massive dump that we had Bitcoin, 57% dump, and we did drop down a fair bit, but ever since then we have been on quite a bit of a significant price raise, really. If we just put that into a price perspective from the bottom of that wick all the way up to the highest point, that when we had that weekly resistance, we did jump up 363%. So we have been on a fairly substantial rise, but if you look across all the cryptocurrency markets, it's all been fairly similar to that, and we've had some good percentages to be made across the board. And if you was holding Stellar around these levels, then now would have been a great time to take profit, unless we start pushing a bit further forward. Let me just see if I can identify a couple of daily levels down here. As you can see there, all them wicks down to that bottom, and we did touch that and acted as a little bit of support there, and we'll change that to a daily. You could move that up a little bit, there you go. So we acted all the way through there. You could drag it all the way through if we just select that, take it all the way through to the bottom there. We did act, it's acted as quite a bit of support recently. Bounced off it there, bounced off it there. And do we have any more towards these levels? No. Right, that will do anyway for now, because we have a little bit of structure in place, and you can see that we've got some quite valid support and resistance levels in place. First of all, before I take a look at where the price can potentially go, we just want to put a bearish scenario on it. And what I want to do is line a Fibonacci up here, and we'll take the bottom. So that was the very start of the move upwards when we had that massive dump, and we'll take the I like to use the bodies of each candle, so we'll use that bottom body there all up to the highest point that we hit, and that was, that keeps getting away, shift it out of the way. So that was around the 16th of August, so pretty much 3 or 4 days ago now. And we have started to do a little bit of a retracement, but on the daily it's not too much. Bitcoin had a bit of a wobble, and it's started to come down, but I still think we can push higher. But if we do not push higher, and this flips around and turns bearish, because let me just show you the Hitman indicator. As you can see here, we have an indication that there is a shift in momentum, and that the market is bullish. As you can see there, it switched. It didn't last for long, but then it did switch back to bullish. If we do get an indicator up here of a bearish scenario, then in my opinion the 618 level is always a good area to target. Anywhere around here will be an absolute steal of an investment area for the long term, not for short term, because I prefer long positional swing trades. So here, if we do start to roll over, I do think that you can target the 618 level of Fibonacci, and then load up, and hopefully that will be the end of the dumps and end of these low levels that we've been seeing this last year. So that is the bearish scenario, but what I want to do is consider the fact that I think this is just a slight profit taking area, and I do think that we can start to switch bullish. If we just put my EMAs on, we had a bearish cross down here, and then a bullish cross here, and ever since then we've been going up. The price action did kind of bounce off that EMA, and I do think that we will eventually start to target back up towards these levels in this coming week. In my opinion, I do think that we can start to break through. If we break through that 11-12 cent area, then we're going to push up to 14 cent. And again, I just want to put the Fibonacci, but put it on a backwards way, so that you're getting some Fibonacci extensions. We take it to the bottom body there. So here it is aiming towards a 16 cent area, and in my opinion, I do think if we just find the arrow, I do think that we can break this. We might do a little retracement, but then I think we're gonna target back up towards these levels of 16 cent. And in consideration to price, it's not a major move. I mean, it is if you consider a 58% price raise on what you've got, but remember, some of these coins, if you bought back then, some of the DeFi projects now have been hitting up towards, what could you say, around 1,000%, maybe 2,000%, and this 60% move I do think is quite likely to happen. We just need to make sure we get through this area of resistance and then push on through and try and aim for that. That's what are we there, 16 cents. So I do think that can happen in the coming, hopefully in the coming week or two. But we need to really see what Bitcoin's going to do and take it from there. But let's put a bit of positive spin on this and hope that this rejection here starts pushing up and we do try and see some of these levels up a bit higher. So yeah, that will wrap it up for today's video. That is just a rough idea of where you can potentially get an entry point if we do flip bearish, and where we can potentially target if we start to maintain this bullish uptrend that we have been doing. So like I say, that will wrap it up for today's video. Please make sure you do like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.